Hey gorgeous, this is episode number 180 with the amazing #1 revenue growth mentor, David Newman.
This is David Newman, and you are listening to the HeartSells podcast with Christine Schlonski. Enjoy.
I'm so excited to have David Newman on the show today. He is a certified speaking professional and a member of the National Speakers Association $1 Million Speaker Group, which basically means that everybody in that group, which is pretty tiny, a little bit over 100 people, are making 1 million in revenue with their speaking businesses. And that is quite amazing. And David is going to share a ton today for you, how you can take your business to the next level with speaking. He's the author of the best-selling books, Do It Marketing, and brand new on the market, Do It Speaking, 77 instant action ideas to market, monetize, and maximize your expertise. So make sure you get that book. I have put a link into the show notes so you can just click and order. David is known as a #1 revenue growth mentor for experts who speak professionally, and he is the creator of the Speaker Profit Formula Mentoring Program, which has over 800 successful graduates, ranking from brand new speakers to members of the National Speakers Association Speaker Hall of Fame. And I am so pumped that he is here today sharing his knowledge with us. He has just been a part of the Heart-Centered Lead Generation Summit, where he just rocked his presentation. And I was so impressed and so excited about the great value he has to share that I asked him right away to be on HeartSells podcast. And he said yes. So I hope you enjoy, have fun, and make sure you have a notepad and a pen. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show, David. Welcome.
Thank you, Christine. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I just love talking to you. I had the amazing opportunity a while back where you were a guest of the Heart-Centered Lead Generation Summit, providing amazing value of how you can get leads by speaking. And we just heard in your bio that you are also in a special group at the National Speaker Association, and it's called the $1 Million Speaker Group. Tell us more.
Yes. Well, this is like, in most industries, in the real estate industry, in the insurance industry, they have what's called a $1 Million Roundtable. So the National Speakers Association about 10 years ago started this group called the $1 Million Speakers Group. And it's for speakers and experts who run, as you might imagine, an enterprise level company where they bring in over $1 million of revenue. And some people are just at that 1 million, $1.5 million level. And some people have literally 5, 8, 10, $20 million business. The cool thing with that for me is that it really proves that you can be a 15-year overnight success. So even though I started my entrepreneurial speaking, training, and consulting business in 2002, it did take me until 2017 to get to 7 figures. Now we have an amazing team. We have 10 people who work with our clients and work internally. The other thing I want to say, not to denigrate reaching a 7-figure revenue level, but you have to remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So there's the question of revenue, and then there's the question of profitability. So if I'm being completely heart-centered right now, completely transparent with you, I will tell you that my take-home pay is less right now than it was when I was making $500,000 company revenue and there was only 1 or 2 of us. There was me, my operations manager, 1 virtual assistant. Now we have a company of 10. And yes, we're selling beautifully and we have great, amazing client success stories. And that's what really energizes us. But my take-home pay is not as much at $1 million plus revenue than it was at 500K. But one more cool thing about that group, since you asked, a lot of people think that the speaking business is all about big stages, keynote. And I will tell you, there's 121 members of the $1 Million Speakers Group. Only 10 out of those, so about 10%, a little bit less than 10%, have a keynote business. Everyone else does speaking and they run a training company, or they have speaking and they do online courses, or they do speaking and they have a fabulous consulting team that goes out and does consulting engagements for their clients. So when I said enterprise level, 7-figure business, that does not mean that we're jumping on the planes and doing 60 or 70 or 80 keynote speeches. That's one business model. But there's 100 different business models in having a speaking-driven business. And of course, we teach our clients, and I also tell all my friends and all my podcast listeners and everyone that speaking is more than just keynotes. So if you're sharing your message through the spoken word, meaning speaking, training, coaching, consulting, facilitation, CEO roundtables, online courses, video, webinars, podcasts, you have a speaking-driven business, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. Congrats on that success.
Thank you.
Also the impact you're making with your business. All the people you help, have a better business or put their ideas into words and get out there. Because speaking is a little bit like selling, right? People are so fearful of it, public speaking, that some people, they are more fearful than of dying, which for me is so amazing. So what are your clients facing when they start with you? Do they have the fear of public speaking, or are they already sorted on that side?
Well, so great question. I'm going to answer it in two parts. Part number one is we don't teach presentation skills in this part of our program. This is really about monetizing your expertise. So what that means is we deal with the business side of developing and growing a speaking-driven business with all those different profit centers that I mentioned a moment ago. Interestingly, we also have a speaker video summit where people come and we do a 2-day video shoot to create a speaker demo reel. In the process of doing that, Christine, I found that some people, a few, but let's say 5-10%, some people are actually terrified of speaking. That's like, well, wait a second. You want to make this part of how you make money? You want to make this part of how you generate leads? You want to share your heart and share your story and share your value with an audience? And they really do want to do that. I mean, that's the genuine part of this, is that they're all givers. They're all hugely generous, hugely talented. I don't know if it's the cameras or the stage, but we do a 3-camera video shoot, and some of these people freeze up like a popsicle. And it's just like, And I was like, seriously? So even though there's some coaching, and we give them presentation coaching before they get there, we give them content coaching before they get there, we give them performance coaching, we do on-site coaching to loosen them up and to get rid of that fear. And just like you and I are talking like, friends having coffee, we say, pretend the cameras aren't there. Pretend you're not in this 300-seat theater. Pretend that you're just talking to a friend. And make eye contact with one person in that audience. One. Pretend everyone else melts away and you're talking to that one person. And we have a technique that we teach called lock, talk, and move. Lock, talk, and move. What that means is we lock eyes with one member of the audience. We talk, so we make a point. We open a phrase. We have 5 to 7 seconds of content, talking to that one person like they're the only person in the room. And then we move our gaze to the next person who might be in a different part of the audience, sitting at a different table or a different seat in the theater. And again, it's lock, talk, and move. When people do that, 2 things happen. Number one, all their anxiety goes away. All their fear dissipates because now they're just talking to one person. And we can all talk to one person. And number 2, the quality of their presentation skyrockets. In fact, I've been speaking and training and consulting since 1992. First 10 years of that was working for other companies, starting in 2002, doing it for myself. The biggest compliment and the biggest testimonial that is still on my website to this day is David's program was so relaxed, it felt like he was talking to me one-on-one. Why did that person say that? Lock, talk, and move. And so every member of your audience will feel like they're having a one-on-one intimate conversation with you. You could have 3,000 people in the audience and you're just relaxed, you're cool as a cucumber, you're having a great time because you're talking to them one at a time.
I love that. It's all about, making that fear go away and really focus on what you want to get across, the message, the important piece that helps you to influence in a positive way and impact.
Right.
So let me ask you, so when you started out on your own, were you really, really clear that now you had to do a ton of sales to get your company going? Or were you more in the camp where you thought, well, I love it so much what I'm doing, I'm just going to do it for myself and I'm going to open up the doors?
It's going to be choice B. And of course, choice B is incorrect. That was the wrong choice, but that was my choice. That's what I did. Because, especially when you leave corporate, and we also work with a lot of executives who are just now leaving the corporate world. When their business card no longer says IBM, when their business card no longer says Bank of America, they're no longer the CFO, the CEO, the VP of Schmeggedy, they realize, oh, wait a second. I used to make a call, they return my call in 5 minutes. I used to send an email, I would get 3 replies in half an hour. Now I send an email, it goes into a black hole. Now I leave a voicemail, they never call back. Wait a minute, what happened? Because my thinking was, like with these executives, how hard can it be? I'm already doing this with a paycheck. They take the paycheck away. My passion is going to help me build this business. People will see how passionate I am. They will see how big my heart is. They will see how excited I am to help them and serve them. And the doors will bust open and I will have unlimited business. Until you start hearing crickets and you realize, wait a minute, where's all the leads? Where's all the interest? Where's all the people knocking my door down? And you do, in fact, have to sell. So I know one of the things that you believe is in heart-centric selling, and I believe in that too. I have 4 different words for it. I think effective selling is really all about, if you don't like the word sales, lose the word sales out of your vocabulary. You don't like the word marketing, lose the word marketing. 4 new words: offer value, invite engagement. Offer value, invite engagement. Be helpful to your prospects, whether they buy from you or not. One of the chapters in my first book, the Do It Marketing book, was about Happy Meal marketing. And the concept of Happy Meal marketing is that your clients, the people that pay you gobs and gobs of beautiful money, they get a beautiful 7-course meal. White tablecloth, beautiful silverware, china, 3 different wine glasses, that weird shaped little pointy fork, and no one knows what to do with. I'm not sure what that's for. Now, people who don't buy, they don't get the 7-course meal. They don't get the white tablecloth. They don't get the 3 wine glasses. They get a Happy Meal. So you go to McDonald's, they get little cheeseburger, little fries, little drink. The idea is whether they buy or not, nobody leaves your house hungry. So your audience, your prospects, your email list, your social media followers, they should be better off just by consuming your marketing, whether they ever give you a dime or not. So that's what I mean by offer value, invite engagement. If I offer you a hamburger and say, Christine, we have a beautiful steak dinner over here, but have this hamburger because you kind of look hungry. Some people will take the hamburger and say, this was fantastic, so tasty, so delicious, thanks, bye, don't need the 7-course meal. Some people will say, isn't he nice? Isn't he generous? Isn't he wonderful? And that hamburger was delicious. I bet the 7-course meal is awesome. I'm coming in for the 7-course meal. And that's when they become a buyer. So if you really practice Happy Meal marketing, and you make sure nobody ever leaves your house hungry, you will be of good service to every prospect that comes across your radar, enters your funnel, watches your webinar, receives your email, sees one of your Facebook Lives. You will be of good service to them, whether they ever pay you 10 cents or not.
Yeah, I love that. That's also my philosophy is like everybody who gets in contact with me, they should be better off. So but I love the term happy meal marketing. It just so totally makes sense because we probably all had a happy meal in our life, I would guess.
True.
So how, when you then started, so how did you conquer that sales part? Like what happened? How did you feel about it? And how did you find your solution?
Well, I will tell you, and it was completely by accident. So I was doing a free program. So I live here in Philadelphia, and one of these small networking groups was called the Consultants Forum. And I think it's a national organization, but there's a Philadelphia chapter. And I walk in, I was preparing a program for this group. And I was going to walk in and just give them, 90 minutes of my best material and then leave. The night before, literally the night before, I say, well, how else could I help these people after the 90 minutes is over? And I went to my office supply store and I bought a clipboard and I put a legal pad on the clipboard and I decided I'm going to bring a pen with me. And if anybody wants additional help, they can sign up for a 30-minute session with me to discuss how they can implement some of those ideas, how I can help. And this was literally 2003, 2004, a good 15 plus years ago. So I go in and I do the free program. There was only 12 people in the room, very small group. Finished the program. I thought it went fairly well. We passed the clipboard around. 9 people signed up. 9 people signed up out of the 12. So 3 said, nope, don't need the follow-up. Great. 9 people signed up. 6 people showed up for their appointed call. So I got 3 no-shows. So 9 signed up. 6 actually we had a conversation. 3 of them bought my program. And at that time, I had this little mini consulting program for $4,000. So 3 people bought a $4,000 program. I turned that free speech into $12,000 of revenue. So I start that week on Monday. I do this program on Wednesday. By Friday, there's $12,000 in my bank that was not there on Monday. I said to myself, I think I've stumbled onto something here. And so obviously people can do speaking and presentations like the one that I did for the Consultants Forum. That's called lead generating speaking. And I know in our next episode, we're going to talk perhaps about revenue generating speaking and how to get paid to speak. But even if you just do speaking for leads, that can add $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month to your business right now, no matter what business you're in. You might be a coach, you might be a financial advisor, you might be a chiropractor, you might be a real estate agent, you might be a consultant, coach, trainer of some kind. Doesn't really matter, but if you can get in front of a target-rich group, offer value, invite engagement in person, right? We talked about that concept a moment ago, but do it in person in a live group. Have a simple call to action. In my case, back in the day, it was Neanderthal. It was like, here's a clipboard with a pen. I didn't use lead pages. I didn't do opt-ins. I didn't say, take out your smartphone. I'm not even, this was before the iPhone came out. I think iPhone came out in 2007, and this was pre-iPhone. So I had to use a clipboard because we all had those little Motorola phones with like the chiclet keyboard. Anyway, so lead generating speaking can be a huge game changer in your business. Then I realized, okay, I can teach people how to do that in addition to the revenue generating speaking that I had been doing since 2002. Initially not so well. Then I started to figure some things out, dial some things in, put my own spin on it. And then by 2006, 2007, I had that going as well. But really, it was the concept that even a blind squirrel occasionally finds a nut. And when I walked into that room with the clipboard, I was the blind squirrel, but boy, did I find the nut.
I just love this story. And it's so interesting, right? So 12 people were in the room. You ended up with 12K. but only 3 bought.
Yeah.
So 75% booked, 50% showed up, 25% bought. And so now it comes in how you structure it, how you package your stuff. Just imagine you would have sold an hour of consulting. You probably would have ended with $1,000.
Yeah.
Right. But you had the right packaging in place. You delivered amazing value. And that's when sales starts to be super, super fun. Right. It doesn't need to be pushy or sleazy or salesy. You can just make that invitation.
Yes.
And I really love how you work that piece out. And, obviously you are all about speaking on stages, in person, but this can be also done online. Mm-hmm. You can invite people, and you brought an amazing free training for us, Steps to Speaking Success, right? So you invite people in, you give value, and then if they really like what they see, and they need it, they automatically want more. And then they will take you up on an offer. It might be the Happy Meal, but it also might be the wonderful 7-course thing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's why I say that literally when you say, how did you stumble on this? I literally stumbled on it. It wasn't, I had this master plan from day one. I had this all engineered in my head. I'm the most brilliant marketer. I was not the most brilliant marketer. And this was literally the night before, 12 hours before I walked into this room, this small little meeting room in a small hotel here. I just realized, maybe I'll bring a clipboard, $12,000 clipboard.
Sounds pretty attractive to me. So you had all these learnings. What would you recommend for somebody listening right now? They might be struggling a little bit in their business, or maybe even a big time, and they might even think about giving it up because they took plan B, as you named it earlier. They just jumped out of corporate thinking, I have this amazing thing, I'm just going to open my doors, and everybody's just going to show up, to realize that nobody's coming. And then they need to figure out that they need to sell, but often this doesn't even come to their mind. They don't know where the gap is. Yeah. What can you give them as an advice, like what steps to take so they get momentum and results?
Sure. Well, I think 3 out of the 4 steps are mindset steps. And the first one is the title of this podcast, that people really need to understand: heart sells. Your heart, your intention, your willingness to help, your willingness to serve, that needs to be communicated rapidly, consistently, with pride, you can't be shy. You can't keep your heart behind a wall going, well, I don't want to show them because then I'll be seen as weak, or I'll be seen as, maybe they'll expect it's going to be free, or maybe I'll be seen as pushy or salesy or whatever it is. So I think that's mindset shift number 1. Mindset shift number 2 is, I'm going to piggyback my little catchphrase on that: offer value, invite engagement. Every day that you're not in the public eye somewhere, somehow, email, Facebook, LinkedIn, in person, on video, on your YouTube channel, every day that your laptop is closed or that you're tapping away on email or hiding in your office is a day that you're losing out on leads, because people cannot hire someone who's invisible. People cannot hire or seek out help from someone who's not there. So I think presence is a huge part, right? Not everyone's going to be ready to buy, but when they're ready to buy, they're like, oh, you know what? I listen to Christine's podcast all the time. I think she might have the program that I need right now. If Christine was invisible, number 1, you wouldn't be listening right now. And then number 2, she wouldn't have that piece of presence in the marketplace. So I would challenge you, mindset challenge number 3 here, or mindset shift number 3. How can you do daily presence? How can you get in front of your audiences, in person, online, offline, on video, with webinars, with blogs, with podcasts, with something that they can consume, after which they consume it, they say, you know what? That was really valuable, and I like this person. I like their heart. I like their come from. I like their perspective. I like not only what they do, I like who they are. And that's number 3. The last one, the tactical one, is you got to get your butt off the couch. You got to do some proactive outreach. And what I recommend to all of our clients is to create a list. And the list is called your Active 20 prospect list. These are 20 companies or associations or groups or people that you want to have hire you. And think of it as filling a job description. So here's the job title for the job description that you're looking to fill. My next client. What are their characteristics? What are their traits? What are their, how are they wired? How do they talk about the problem that you're already brilliant at solving? How can you mirror that language on your website, in your emails, on your LinkedIn profile? Because as soon as you mirror the language of the heartaches, headaches, problems, and challenges of your target market, including these 20 specific prospects, now you're going to start to resonate. You're going to start to resonate with them where they're going to say, oh my gosh, I read Christine's website and I felt like she was talking to me. I got that email from David. I felt like he was talking to me. It's like they installed video cameras in my office. They installed listening devices on my phone because Christine knows exactly what I'm going through. The person who can best describe the problem is also the person that gets credit for having the best and most effective solution. So think tactically about that Active 20 prospect list, and then how can you start to mirror their language, their traits, their perspectives, their opinions on the most urgent, pervasive, expensive problems that they have that we already know that you're brilliant at solving, but they don't know it yet. And how can we make them aware that, number 1, you exist, number 2, you understand the problems that they're going through, and number 3, you can fix it.
Love it. What a wonderful finish of this first episode. So I want for people to go to figure out your free training because it's amazing, the 5 steps to speaking success. So you get started, right? You don't need to start with a huge keynote somewhere on a huge stage or stadium. You can start locally with 10 people, with 5, with 12, with 20. Yeah. Just don't make it intimidating. So where do people go to find that webinar?
They can go to doitmarketing.com. That's our main website, DOIT, doitmarketing.com/webinar. And that's awesome. The free training that will help you see where the path lies to some speaking-driven revenue generation or lead generation for your business.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that I have you back on the show in a little while and that we will dive into the revenue marketing or revenue speaking, which is really an interesting topic for probably a lot of listeners.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Thank you so much for sharing your time today, and we catch up very soon.
Thanks, Christine.
Well, what a rock star interview. I just love and adore what David does and how he helps entrepreneurs to move forward, to monetize their mission and message. And it's so important that we do understand if we are speakers, it doesn't mean we need to fill a stadium. It doesn't mean that we need to be a keynote speaker to make that impact. And David showed it so beautifully that starting out small still can make a huge impact, not just in your own business, but for all the people who are involved. So I highly recommend you hop on over to christineschlonski.com, find the podcast tab, find the show notes, the transcripts. All the links that connect you to David are just one click away. So please connect with him and his beautiful work. Check out his books. I put them in the resource section of the show notes page, and you want to make sure you dive on right in. I already started reading his brand new book that just came out, Do It Speaking, and I have to say it's just wow. You will love it. It will provide you so much more value than just this interview, which was already packed, and I hope you took a ton of notes. Make sure you check out the next episode with David, where we are even going to go deeper. And yeah, just connect. And if you want to learn more about David and his style, you can also check out the Heart-Centered Lead Generation Summit, where he, besides 40 other amazing world-class speakers, taught a full segment on how to do it speaking and what kind of strategies he's using, he's teaching to his private clients, and he shared that on a presentation at the Heart-Centered Lead Generation Summit that you can also find at heartcenteredleadgenerationsummit.com. So make sure you hop on over right there as well, check it out, put it in your success library, and really go deep with his content. I know that David is one of the best out there, and I'm so excited that I got the opportunity to present him to you today. And I'm also inviting you to join the next episode number 181 with David Newman, where we are going to go deeper. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world. And I'm saying bye for now.